Ladies and gentlemen, I have a lick of the food poisoning. I've been in a filthy mood all day. The children are not helping. It's half term next week. Streets is looking radiant, handsome, ready, ready to do whatever he needs to do. Streets, how are you, my friend?
I'm very good, brother. How are you, other than feeling like shite?
Well, look, fun fact is that when I feel shit, I listen to a lot of Alex Jones. And I don't know why, but I've done it for years and years and years. When I'm sick,
It's your spirit animal. No, your spirit animal is the waiter from the other day.
well, my spirit animal and my pronouns is actually Fat Val Kilmer. But the waiter from the other day, he was fantastic and he was attentive and he asked questions such as, "Does anyone not understand a menu?" Which I thought was a very strange question.
Too. Like
Multiple
I was
times.
impressed how many times he asked that. It's like, is it a complicated thing? Like, do many people have problems with this?
And I'm just telling you, like, yeah, he was clearly a young guy. He had round rim glasses on. He shaved his head. He had a Aryan facial structure. That, to be honest, if you put him in any form of uniform made by Hugo Boss, for sure, Hugo Boss, you are running a pretty large situation where, let's be honest, it ain't that far from certain Jewish-owned areas, and I didn't know what he was up to, but he was terrifying.
Can I tell you an interesting thing that happened to me yesterday?
Always.
So the filming, there was like 45 dudes and 5 girls. So
I've seen videos like that.
It wasn't that kind of production this time.
Ooh.
So the toilets for the men's were quite packed. And for once the women's weren't. And I'm not sure if it was true genius or just the ultimate piss take, but this guy was just like, "Sorry, boys, I associate as gender fluid," went into the women's and I think took like a horrific shit because he was in there for like 5 minutes before just like strolling out. And I was like, that's a power move, isn't it? That's just like seeing a loophole and running with that shit.
Done that a few times. Not the identifier, I'll just go in. Listen, sometimes you got no choice. It's like, look, either
it's here or the floor, you pick.
It's here or we've got a real situation. So I don't know which one you want. Whatevs. Streets, this has been like, we did Tyler as the 100, and this is our 101. And like we were going to do last week, it's just, it didn't happen. And a lot has gone on since last week. Like, strange amounts has gone on, but it doesn't feel like that much has happened. So to vaguely recap, Mikey Garcia, who has been lurking around the top pound for pound 4-weight world champion, got turned over by some Spanish man, literally some Spanish man, right? Bizarre. Okay.
And he did it like easily. Like it wasn't.
He wasn't bothered, the geezer, was he?
Like Mikey just did not get out of first gear. It's like he was loading up on shots and just really confused out there against an opponent. Like no disrespect at all, because he fought, like he beat Mikey Garcia. Incredible.
Yeah, and he did it well. Yeah. And he did it in a way that others can. And you know what? He's a weird, twitchy, slick European southpaw. You know, I don't want to say in like the Sergio Martinez style, but he also did that weird twitchy southpaw, weird shots. Yeah. Funny defense, like nothing seemed to work, but yet it was like incredibly effective. Honestly, it was a decent watch on DAZN.
Do you know what I loved was the first judge gave it a draw, and then when they said the scorecards and it was winning by like 5 rounds or whatever, you could see him just go like, he just had no faith that he was going to get the decision. Just the look of like surprise and happiness when he got his hand raised.
That was his world title fight.
That was awesome.
It's huge. And it's one of those ones where you just, I mean, first of all, the lights went off in the middle of a round, which was bizarre. And even like, it looked like WWF Undertaker shit. And like your boy Chris Mannix said, Undertaker, I expected the Undertaker to pop out. And we all did, to be honest. Like, it was just a very odd thing to happen for the
I mean,
entire
I think I told you
stadium.
in one of my fights, they put the strobe lights on in the middle, which was disconcerting enough, but to have fucking just darkness,
That's not great.
that's not great.
It's not great.
That's up there with a fucking parachuter coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Immediately, you're in that situation. You're in very much so enemy territory where you're with Salvador Martin in the middle of like Fresno, Cali. That's like Mikey Garcia. They're letting off fireworks. They're fucking eating Taco Bell. They're doing all of that shit, right? The lights go off. I'm hitting that canvas so fast. I am laying straight down. And I'm giving it the WWF rollout to the side until things come back on again because I just don't know what's going on here. Fucking hell. But that, I'm going to say that's one of the biggest upsets in a very long time.
Yep.
And he was literally some guy. Like, he was no one from nowhere. No one had heard of him. I'm sure maybe like he'd fought in Spain and Switzerland maybe once. But literally, like, the only fight he ever had outside of Spain was like a Swiss fight, and I didn't really know they had boxing in Switzerland.
Yeah, full respect, because Mikey is an animal, and he fought a hell of a fight. Hats off to Martin, man, because that's a life-changing win. And if I wish him all the best. If nothing else happens, what a fucking thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, and the thing is, Eddie was saying all the way through, like, they have been so unbelievably confident. Like, we offered the fight to them, they snapped our hands at it, and they've been talking about how confident they are with it. And I don't know what it is about Mikey where they were just like, this is light work. I've got this. Powerful.
The co-main did look like a pair of Mijets. Like, they were small fellas. Yeah.
I don't think we're allowed to talk about the Mijets. Because if you think about this, like, logically, in the first say 10 minutes of this episode, we've gone over the Nazis, Alex Jones, and now Mijets. It's probably for the best. It's probably for the best.
Algo probably ain't loving us right now, huh? I mean, you are wearing a Coof Club hat.
I am wearing a Coof Club hat, and
we have been coofed.
Fucking, like, Instagram 3-day break, right? For today's Coof Club was legend Fedor Emelianenko, like the MMA heavyweight goat. Like, he's built exactly like every Russian dad the world has ever known. He does not look terrifying, yet he is.
Yeah.
And he just two-pieced some poor geezer in Bellator. And the entire world is putting that video out. But when we put it out as Coof Club, our Instagram gets shut. What?
Haters.
Like, I took that from Bo Hightower.
Yeah, right.
He's still got his up. World Star's got their up. I mean, all I'm going to say is that we're probably getting that large where we're actually being a thing now.
But yeah, the undercard on that too was good. Jesse Rodriguez, he looked great against Burgos, where he kind of flatlined him again. The referee did great job, because it was like one of them delayed response, and then the guy was just up against the rope. Referee got in the middle, and he kind of stayed against the rope for a bit. That was I love the way he boxes. Beautiful head movement, beautiful footwork. His straights were on point. Loved it. That, I don't know did you see Brock Jarvis? Like, he's one of our Aussie. He's another prospect out of Australia, and he was fighting a Mexican who was supposed to be an underdog. And I don't think those words should go together anymore, because, like, I don't know how many times it needs to happen before you realize, like, if you want someone to just turn up and as a professional opponent, Mexico's not the place to go.
Yeah, that's not where you go shopping for that.
They were saying the bookies didn't even have odds on this fight.
Oh, wow.
He beat the fuck out of Jarvis. Like, in the second round, the only reason I think that fight continued was because it was like, he wasn't supposed to win. So they gave him so much leeway. No, sorry, that might have even been the opener. But either way, like, he regained it, made it to the end of the round, like, showed a granite chin. He was boxing beautifully up until then. Yeah, it was second. Got smacked and literally was getting, like, he was trying to hold on and missing. It was bad. And then the following round, not even a quarter of that, he dished out the other way, and they stopped the fight. So it was a very lucky win for him.
Cali shit.
Yeah.
And the geezer who looks a lot like Elon Musk, was it Castro? He fought on there as well, didn't he?
Yeah. And listen, this is what we've been saying with Campbell Hatton. Like, remember we discussed his debut where he's on Canelo's like co-main or something like that.
Literally, mate, chief support.
And now he's like 4 fights down, 5 fights down, I think even. And he did great. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mate, I think it's going to be a very long time before you forgive Campbell for getting that magic.
Yeah, that was
whatever. Like, do you want to do the Sky Sports card quickly from last week? I mean, fine, unremarkable.
Yeah, except Savannah.
Savannah, be a bitch.
Yeah, and she started strong too. She fucking
right. Savannah is like so composed, and you could just see maybe a minute in when she put it on. Like, I think there was like one shot that landed, and that girl was like, oh no. But then there was no other. She was
creating space just by switching stance was fucking lovely.
She's quality. I think she batters Clarissa, you know.
Mate, I think so. Like, I love the way she boxes. Like, she's so clearly the Fury style. It's insane. Yeah. That jab is like a fucking battery ram.
And again, she's got these weird looping, super slow, the end super fast shots. You can't gauge where they are. They clearly got power.
That uppercut that just comes from nowhere.
She was giving her licks. Savannah looked great.
Yeah.
USSR Steve Robinson, you know, may look like he headlined the show, but he was just like the last show of the fight. He's got a weird style, but good win, good branding. How can you hate anyone that comes out to a Lion King tune? You can't. Banger. Listen, Eubanks Jr. It was fine. Okay, in parts of it, he looked like he was being Roy in a film. Is what he looked like he was trying to do, and that was fine. Like, and the Roy stance. Where's he like? I mean, I'm sure it's got some utility if you're Roy.
My thing is, how much do we take away from this caliber of opposition? That's the thing.
We can't, and he's still got caught a good few times. If Liam Williams catches him with a couple of them shots, you got a situation.
Yeah, and it's like, so why are you? Because if you are fighting this level, no disrespect, but you're not fighting that person. You're prepping for what's next. We know what's next for him. He knew what was next for him, and it's you ain't gonna fight that fight the way he was done then. If you want to get rounds in, you're thinking like, preparation. That was not that. That was a showcase against someone who really shouldn't have been in the ring with him.
No, so, and even then, at a couple of bits where he didn't look terrible. Yeah, right. And you know, like I said, it was an unremarkable card. It was fine. Again, it's fine. It's something that you would never dream of paying for, despite.
I did like how Eddie mugged them off, where he was talking about DAZN being pay-per-view. And he's like, I mean, yeah, it will be if people want that caliber of fights. But if you look at what like Sky's showing this, I mean, we'd never, but that would be like a Thursday night fight or something.
See, he lit them up a little bit, didn't he? Because I don't know what's gone on, but a few days before that Eubanks fight, he was like, they're looking at doing a pay-per-view of Liam Williams and Eubanks, which was dark. And then Sky, for God knows what reason, they were doing like pantomime level acting, like, oh, I wonder if we can get someone on the big British scene, maybe like a Liam Williams. What do you think, Chris? Adam Smith referred to Chris Eubanks Jr. as etched in concentration, and I thought, that's perfect. That's exactly what it is, but I don't know what he's concentrating on, and neither does he. He just doesn't. That was like the worst reveal of the next fight of all time, and they tried to make it so it wasn't great, you know. And Adam and Matt Macklin were both dressed like I said, a head and a deputy head of a boys' school. I have no idea why they done the double tweed. You had Gareth fucking what's his name, Davies, behind, shirt open, giving it the Barry on Sky Sports, and you're like, kind of fuck with you now. I kind of like it. I kind
I
of like how
mean,
mental
after
you
his
are.
video, shout out that he has gone up a lot of levels.
He really has. Like, I just thought he was a complete tool. Now I know he's a raging alcoholic, and I'm all about it. The geezer lives in substance, and I'm for that personally. But yeah, that was a.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
happened.
there's another few cards at the end of the year. I like Ben Shalom,
Yeah,
right? I like his vibe. I like how he's literally in the back. He's doing what he should be. He clearly has no intention of being a public figure, and they have to drag it out of him. And he does it, and he does it well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did come out either like 1A or 1B or relatively close to on top. I just wouldn't.
yeah.
Sky's got. Don't forget how much cash Sky
Oh,
actually
mate.
has, and the owners of Sky. And if they want to really do this, because there's going to be a certain crossover where you're going to have the disruptors like DAZN, which they're trying to be a Netflix of sports, right?
Yeah,
And then you have traditional, which is like a Sky. How long has Sky really got before no one even dreams of having a dish smashed on the side of there? I know they're doing Sky Glass, which is just fucking Now TV with a different button in it. But like, how long have they got? So they're gonna have to make a big push soon,
yeah,
because let's be realistic, right? I'm not gonna shit on Sky, but from an absolute like objective step back,
yeah,
who the fuck watches the who does the films? Why would you?
yeah.
You got Amazon, you got Netflix, you got Disney Plus. You can watch it whenever you want, however you want. And I know Sky has
I just signed
some.
up to another one, that fucking Radukin or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Amazon always
Hadouken!
fucks me.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's half the reason I got it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
always say that when I press the button.
yeah. You got. I don't even know what's on there. You did tell me on Friday what's on there, but it's not much.
It's actually got loads of the cinema releases like on there. You still got it. So here's the kicker: you then pay for the movies as well.
Fuming.
Yeah, but fuck it, it's worth it.
But for Sky to live, to even survive, sport has to be their only. Sport has to be their only thing that they can do. And if that is the only thing that they can do, and it's the only thing that they can generate cash with, I wouldn't be surprised if they open up the old dusty checkbook and start really putting. I mean, they're nicking matchroom fighters. They've got Florian now.
Yeah,
Who else? There was a couple of them that like. It wasn't really that much of a shock with Savannah, because like Adam's always been banging on about mentoring her.
yeah.
Eubanks. This is the Eubanks Junior show for a while, and like, yes or
It
no.
might be a short while based on the next fight.
That's what I'm saying. Yes or no? Does he beat Liam Williams? If you had to pick now, as you pick Williams, I think it could very well be a near fight of the year. I could think that can be an absolute dust up, because Eubanks is fast and he is tough and he really has got a proper chin on him,
Yeah,
and so is Williams.
yeah.
Right now, Williams has just come off of a world title fight against Boo Boo, and he didn't look bad. Yes, he got put on his ass, but it wasn't a bad performance at all. That was a world level performance.
Boo Boo.
And that's Boo Boo. Of the middleweight champs, he's the most awkward. He's the hardest fight. Like, it's not the most dangerous fight. I still say that's Triple G. I still say that is the most. Who's putting up weird training in Big Bear videos? Like, have you seen those? It's like picture of him with the bear.
No.
Picture of him like making a saucepan of something. It's weird. Like, they haven't even said if he's fighting or not. No one knows anything. But anyway. But yeah, like, I don't really see that. Probably would pay that 20 quid for that pay-per-view though.
Yeah, for that fight, for sure. That's one way. Yeah.
That could be that would be like a nice liver, because you're just going to sit there laughing. This is it. It covers it all.
Consider it done. We'll break out the costumes and everything.
We could maybe do the one in a couple of weeks, which is the first boxer show, like the tournament show, which are normally pretty fun.
Yep.
And they do a much better job of their tournaments than even like Prize Fighter, because it's just so much. They've taken everything the Prize Fighter has done, added more to it, and hey, let's see. Straight. I really, I personally, I mean, on my list on its own is the pause. But let's not. Let's let's very quickly go with like this is the main reason I wanted to chat to you tonight. Okay, it's now pretty clear that AJ is trainer shopping, not just going around to gyms. Where last week it was pretty unsure, and at one point when he started to do stuff with Ronnie Shields, and Ronnie Shields was coming out doing interviews about it, you're just like, I'm not sure Ronnie's the guy. He's already a bit chatty. Like, he's already giving away an awful lot. He's talking about, like, he's left Rob McCracken, he's kept Angel, and that's it. Like, and it's just like, Also, like, is Ron that good? Like, no, but for real, like, like, of the list of people, he's as qualified credential-wise, but, like, name me a big, modern Ronnie Shields world champion that's not Charlo.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, Canelo camp, for me, is the place.
I would think so too. So now, for me, because of...
For the training, that language is obviously going to be a problem.
Yeah. So look, on my list of ones that potentially he could go to, because he is quite clearly looking to change everything.
Yeah.
Now, Uncle Bob has come out and said that that it's irrelevant and he will never beat Usyk because Usyk's too smart. I still want to be proven correct in the prophecy, and I say AJ wins the rematch. I say that. And the list, we got Buddy McGirt, I think is a good shout for him.
Great shout.
Right? He's a great shout for anyone. Okay. But I can also understand why that wouldn't. What do you think AJ needs in his corner? Because I think he needs not a hype man, but he needs someone to talk to him and not say to him, great boxing AJ, because he's like
absolutely
gone through the ropes.
Not just AJ, everybody needs that. Because I don't even think AJ specifically that catered to that. No. That's why it's so surprising that he's getting it.
I didn't understand.
We already discussed Floyd, like, because me personally, as a coach, when everyone was getting so excited, it's like, I don't necessarily, like, Floyd has all the boxing knowledge in the world. Yeah. All of it. You couldn't ask for more. Do I think he'd be a great coach? Only when he's well and truly given up on everything to do with himself. Is that even a possibility? Until then, no. Do I think he's a good promoter? Not amazing. Like, a lot of people have to leave and do their own thing because Floyd is the Floyd show. That's what made him who he is. But
it's his name on the door, isn't it?
Yeah, we've seen it with Tank when we discussed it when he was in York Hall, and it basically became all about him. But what I'll give him was he went up and told Tank the fucking truth when, and
yeah, I think good. Floyd is evolving an awful lot, and like absolutely. you can see that he's immersing himself with like Gerald Tucker, who is an absolute quality young trainer. And, you know, him and Gerald do a lot of similar stuff. They're from the same camp. They've been formed out the same lot. They do an awful lot of good stuff. He does seem to be getting better and better and better. But what he seems to be is what he should be at the minute, which is like, he's the guy doing the TED Talk. He's not the one doing the research. Nor should he be. He's earned the right to be the TED Talk man. So if he's an additional set of eyes, great. You know, I can't really see him with the towel over his shoulder.
No.
It probably ends up a little bit too similar to Eubanks Senior.
Yes.
You know, but like, look, we've got Buddy McGirt, we've got Eddie Reynoso, I've got Shields, got Derek James, you got Teddy Atlas, who for me he's my number one pick. For AJ, because Teddy has vast heavyweight experience. He has vast style experience.
Teddy ain't a yes man.
He's
Teddy's
not a yes
tell you
man.
What the fuck you need to be told and tell you you're a fireman. It don't get better than that.
No, he is a motivator. He is, you know, he has the best lineage other than the late great Emmanuel Stewart, who would have been the number one choice. Yeah. Like, and it's such a shame that he's got beef with Lennox, because I know that Lennox isn't actually a bad trainer, because Lennox could probably help him out a lot.
Yes.
Right. And then I was thinking to myself, like, what about Vlad and Jonathan? Like, that's not about, like, Jonathan Banks is, you know, that was Vlad's guy after Manny Stewart. Why not? He's Triple G's guy. He's a vastly experienced, and he's a big dude as well. Right. It all works. And then Virgil Hunter. I can't see Virgil and AJ. I think that's so chilled. It'd be like an episode of like Jazz Club or something from the 70s with them two. They're just too flat, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like
Teddy, man. Teddy is the shout. I think Reynoso camp, like they are doing things.
Yeah.
Pacquiao's son was out there and looking good.
Yeah. I tell you what, I don't think the language thing is that big of a deal. When you're a big dog like AJ, don't forget Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
He can't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
At all. Despite having a surname Garcia. And his dad being Mexican.
True.
So, like, look, they make it work, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And to be fair, there's a lot of English speaking in that camp already. It's in San Diego, for fuck's sake. It's not in Guadalajara.
Yeah, it's just the nuances. I mean, I've had, and loads of people would have had been cornered by ties where I understood like a fifth of what was being said, but when the stakes are that fucking high, like nuances go a long way. So obviously you always work around it. There's been lots of times where there'd be even Triple G back in the day, you know, it's like English wasn't the first thing.
No, he used to have it wasn't even Max, it was someone like whispering to Max and then Max would whisper to him.
Yeah,
but if he has a new trainer and they've set the rematch to March and it's November next week after next, whatever, right? That's not that long to mesh and to gel and to learn and to immerse yourself. But then he's clearly very unhappy with the McCracken side of things. Otherwise, he would still be there. I like a lot the "I'm still pissed about the Usyk fight" tweet that came out yesterday. So
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's tweeted out that he's still pissed about the Usyk fight, and it's like, well, yeah, you lost, and it's a pretty tough ask.
Yeah,
could you imagine if Fury and Sugar Hill actually did it and cornered him, and he won? We'd never hear the end of it.
Mate, I love Fury and Sugar Hill afterwards, topless, like, geez, they're the best, man.
Do you know what seemed to be a very sweet happy birthday message to my old pal Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber? Probably one of the biggest fuck yous that there could be. Listen, he still is bruised from what you did to him. Don't wish the geezer happy birthday. He does not want to. He does not want to see, hear anything to do with you, and you're publicly doing a happy birthday message to him. Now, Tay said he wants a full fight. If you
bite back in any way, you're like, hey, the geezer's just trying to wish you happy birthday.
He's just being nice. Listen, you were a complete and utter tool after that fight. He's wishing you happy birthday. Court of public appeal, you're out. But no, Tay wants a full fight, he said. I'm not sure that's a clever idea, but fine.
I think you need to check the scoreboard sometimes. Yeah,
he definitely shouldn't. Definitely shouldn't do that. Right, so Eddie Reynoso, I think, is a great shout. I don't think personally, in my opinion, Ronnie is the man.
Yep, agree.
I don't know why Ronnie, I don't know. Like, but then who is there? Like, you're talking about like a AAA property. You can't tell me that Eddie's not burning the fucking phones all over the planet to try and find him, all of them, right? It's what do you do? Eddie probably works the best, but then maybe seeing the geezer who beat you day in, day out has got to muck about with you, and that had to be a factor.
That's massive. That's a massive thing that I was going to touch on and say. Do we see Ruiz again in the future? Because that it happens a lot where you either the main person doesn't corner any person. I don't see that happening there. It would be like split.
Listen, Ruiz is so far down that list.
Yeah,
that it is largely irrelevant.
And I truly believe that AJ ain't going to be in the long haul. I've said it before.
No.
If the Fury fight eventuates, I don't see it going his way. That's a pretty good, there's going to be a lot of money in that.
I mean, now 4 months away, does he beat Usyk in the rematch?
He definitely can. It's not because
it's a very Swiss response.
It's just that, like, normally I would say if you straight off the fight, I was like, with Wilder Fury. You know, if someone's faster than you, you can work on speed, whatever. But if someone's just better, and that's what happened with Usyk. Usyk is just better. That being said, AJ, that was almost the worst fight to judge because he just had the exact wrong game plan. Like no bit of that would you be like, oh, if you just did this, it was so hard to tell. It's like you were fighting the wrong person in the wrong way. It's almost like you can take nothing. It's like trying to judge Eubank on his opponent.
Yeah. Strangely, that seems to have been the plan.
Which is even worse.
The thing, right? That's got to be it. Like, all I'm going to say is that maybe he started to believe his own. Maybe there was a lot of yes coming out of the camp in Sheffield. Maybe there was a lot of, you know, you're piecing up European style southpaw boxers in sparring, blah blah blah.
You don't. There's
only one Usyk.
Yeah, you don't try and box a boxer. The real problem, and we discussed this going into the fight, is I think Usyk caters to a lot of the weaknesses that AJ has. The only concern was the size. And AJ trimmed down. The size really wasn't that much. Like, they didn't look that different in there.
No, and Usyk pulled him down.
Yeah.
So eye level to eye level. On top of that, like, you know, Usyk appeared physically to have no issue with AJ.
Not at all. On the inside, he was mugging him, like he was pushing him, landing little shots. But AJ's never been great on the inside, but that's part of the problem.
This is a problem.
And Usyk too, the way he just crossed distance, massive problem. AJ don't like people up in his grill. That's always been the thing. I say it to him blue in the face. I'll readily admit I did not think Ruiz would be the person to do it, but the way he did it, I thought would be his unfolding. You look at Takam, you look at Povetkin, that he likes space, and Usyk is just too good for that. If he wants to get in, he will get in. He's a fucking nightmare for anybody that's not Tyson Fury.
Thing is as well, those Soviets, and how rude for me to call them Soviets, but that's the system they've come up in. Their system has a shitload of grappling. Their system has a shitload of like acrobatics and balance and body weight stuff that AJ's just like, that's a boy from Watford, right? And he applied himself and he done well and he's won a gold medal and he's won all these world championships and all these accolades and stuff. Usyk's been doing this since he was 5.
Yeah.
It's the same as Andy Ruiz. Like, Andy Ruiz has been fighting since he was 5. What was he, 105 and 6 as an amateur? That's a pretty good record. AJ is like 40 and 8 or something as an amateur. Like, it's these are 3, 4, 5, 6 times the amount of experience and everything that goes with it. So, you know,
and people do need to remember, because sometimes we say, but that's the amateurs. Listen, when you're at the elite level of amateurs, you are fighting far superior fighters than when you turn over pro. Far superior, because you're fighting the best of nations. Whereas when you turn pro, you're fighting someone that, you know, that they put in the ring. That's a massive thing. Obviously now he's at the elite level, so that's a very different thing. But Usyk, when you look at who he's fought, you look at these high level guys who they've fought the who's who already, just under a different rule set.
Do you want to have a little chuckle? Vitamin J said that he thinks Joyce beats Usyk. And because the semi-pro match they did all them years ago wasn't that much of a beating, that's why. And I was like, okay, well, have a little chuckle on that one, Jism.
Yeah, I got to say this. I think Joyce does a better job against Usyk than AJ did.
Yeah. Well, right, but that goes back to trainer choice, right? So I think it was Ronnie Shields come out and said that AJ's looking to be a dog in the rematch.
Yeah. And
he wants to be the best dog that he can be. So that says that you're going to try and get back into that early AJ, that wild, like, destroyer, puncher, finisher job. I'm not sure that works against Usyk
100%. Because look, it's all for saying that, and we're going to take him back. It's like, one thing people realize, it's the same with Manny. They're like, oh, he stopped getting knockouts and things like that. So look at the caliber of opposition. Now, that may be a bad example because Manny always fought champions, but he went up and up and up in weight divisions. And there comes a point where it's like, you're fighting the best of the best, like Destroyer AJ.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect, but it's not the same level of opposition that he's fighting now. Like,
no,
he
some
wasn't a dog
Brazilian
against
geezer they
Klitschko.
got.
That was a great fight.
I think that's maybe what he meant, because he had a level of grit that he wasn't going to be denied that night.
Yes.
Right? And that was, I think, the thing that everyone was so impressed with. That's what made it such an exciting fight.
Yes.
Like, you saw him get, like, Klitschko leveled.
Yep.
And, you know, we was all shitting ourselves that night about his conditioning and his cardio, because he was breathing heavy and he's just been dropped and who knows what happens. And then he pulled it out and it's like, legend. Absolute, like, amazing, incredible performance. But that may have been his one. That may have been his, like, immense, massive warrior, go out on your shield or thrive. Like Deontay the other week. Like, that's probably the best Deontay. Yeah. How rude. The best Deontay that we will see.
Yep.
Is probably that one. And that one is one that got him knocked out cold. If you're going to try and fight Usyk, then the Reynosos have to be, for me, the only choice, because they can do that with their fighters, and some of their fighters exclusively just go out there to beat the shit out of you. Canelo kind of being one of them.
Yeah.
He don't really want to be that fancy. He just wants to do you.
Yeah. But fuck, he looks good doing it.
Right, and that's the difference. So I would say probably the Reynosos are the best shout, and then I'm sitting there thinking, like, is that because they're Canelo's and Canelo's comfortable number one on top of that list? You know, I don't know.
See, for me, it's not like what they've done with. What I love with what they've done with Canelo is that he's been there since day dot.
Yes.
And the value of that is, you can't put a price on that, because anyone can work with a champion who makes champions. This is what we were saying with Russ. He makes champions. That's a very rare thing. The fact they do it, and the fact that existing fighters going there and improving immensely, they're not just one trick pony. They're not just like, it's this style or it's no style. There's little tweaks and differences and that sort of stuff. And just being in that atmosphere, there's something to be said. You know,
I mean, for me, it seems the best fit, because they box, they fight, they always have an immense game plan. Whoever they have in their camp that is the one that's reviewing footage, they're very rarely ever wrong. And you know,
mate, their game plan, like Canelo's game plans, and the variety in that. It's not the same Canelo in each fight. He evolves each time, and it's like he beats the person at their game.
Yep. The one game plan that Floyd aside, the first Triple G fight, I think they got it wrong.
Yeah.
The second one, they corrected it. Yeah. But again, you know my stance. I still think he got edged out in the second one, maybe a draw. But either way, that proves that the change for sure was key. I mean, you couldn't do anything with Floyd in that fight, or Lara.
Especially at that age.
Yeah, exactly. It's just whatever. So we're saying Reynoso.
I think that's great, but I would fucking love Teddy. Teddy, I think anyone would thrive under. Just the knowledge that guy has just on Rolodex, and he's forgotten more about boxing than anybody else will ever know. And just the straight talking.
I don't think he picks up the phone to AJ, you know. There's been something in the past. If you listen to the fight, whenever he brings up about AJ, the only thing he ever speaks about is like, he's a good athlete and, you know, he's a great puncher and this and that. But he only ever speaks about the fragility and the vulnerability.
Well, I can see
what he means. Yeah.
As a purist too, like, I kind of get like, it's hard here. You don't want to be an AJ hater because he is great for the sport and all that sort of stuff.
Amazing for the sport.
But playing devil's advocate from a pure boxing stance.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're saying it now because he does have the losses. This was before, when he was this destroyer. Yep. It's still like, if you look just at a boxing skill set, there's still so much to go. What he's achieved in such a short amount of time is incredible, but he's far from a finished product.
No, and that's terrifying, because he has improved so much since he started anyway. And even when, do you remember, like, there was, what did he have, like 2 years before he went pro, didn't he, after the Olympics?
Yeah.
Where he was just out with like Sims and Tibbs and all of them lot, and he was doing the work. So, you know, that's why I kind of think that he will take these 4 or 5 months and come back a totally different entity. I was banging on quite openly before Usyk that Usyk would beat him, and I expected there to be a naughty robbery, and I expected there to be a rematch because of the robbery was so big. With Ruiz, like you looked at Ruiz, and everyone became like a forensic expert post, didn't they? Everyone was like, well, he's a fucking amateur and he's this and he's that, and did you see this? And it's like, you weren't saying that. You were making fun of his tits.
Exactly.
You were literally just making fun of his tits and that he wanted to hold the bags and he wanted fucking Snickers and all this other stuff, and we was all doing the lol jokes of, Big Baby Miller got done for every single steroid. We know this geezer ain't done any, has we? Right? We all done that. And shout out to our boy Ewan, who hates Andy Ruiz with such unbelievable passion and fire that you just, like, you would think that Ruiz has done something to him. He hates him so much, calls him the most boring man on the planet. He just hates him. And whatever. Shout out Ewan. Reynoso. And even with the Reynosos, I still say Usyk beats him in the rematch. But I want AJ to win the rematch.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough one. Whenever they fight, they are two just really good guys.
Yep.
Someone's going to win. I love Usyk's got all the popularity from it. I want to see Usyk Fury. I do want to see AJ Fury, but I mean, I don't see how AJ wins that fight.
I put there was like a meme, because to be honest, our account is literally, we just take other people's content and put it on the account. Now, I personally don't understand why, after a year of doing that, Instagram has decided that that's not okay anymore. And it's just like, whoa, hold on a minute. But this is what I've been doing. Would you expect me to make my own? Fuck that. None of these lot do. You don't care. But anyway, what was I saying? I got angry, didn't I? I got proper lemon. Have you seen? Check what happens when you try and go onto the FW. I mean, don't go onto the FW account, because it just will 100% not work for you. But what it does is that if I go here, Bosh, that's my account, Bosh, onto the FW, so you get this lovely error message. But the error message, you have to keep banging it, and it just doesn't work. Oh, here we are, Bosh. It starts fading in. And then you get access to your account, but you can't do anything. Everything's like locked off.
Oh, well, yeah, because I can see the account, but we just can't log into it.
I don't do it, because you'll have to wait until you get like a fucking DM, and then it'll put you back into your old account, because it don't let you do anything else.
Fucking hell.
Free Britney, free the FW. Fuck you all. Motherfuckers. Fact. Listen, I don't think Teddy particularly has any faith in AJ, and I think for Teddy, I think that he personally thinks AJ's got no heart. So I don't think he's even going to be in it. Reynoso, I could see Virgil, because Josh Boatsi's out there, isn't he?
Oh yeah, that's fucking. I want to see that shit.
I mean, but like, if Boatsi's out there with Verge, and then you got your, the big dog coming in, stealing a little bit of your development time, who's already, he's the same age, but he's already accomplished so much more. You're going to get the ump about that. It's not going to help you. So then, easily.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking cats, look at them. Pricks.
Like The Exorcist came out earlier. Right, what else we got?
Dillian.
So
Dillian has hurt his shoulder.
Dillian injured?
I don't know. That's what I was going to say. He's hurt his shoulder.
As he really?
Apparently. Well, the WBC a couple of days later come out and said, well, no, he can fight Fury if he wants.
Because this happens a lot, where someone will get injured, and then a couple of days later, they automatically have this dream fight. And you're like, oh, is that how it happened? Or did maybe it go the other way? And now because they're like, I'm not risking that for this.
Nope.
Fuck that.
Nope.
I waited long enough. And I totally
get
it.
Yeah, exactly. That's not an easy fight.
No.
Like, if Otto beat Dillian, that would just be like solidification of him being this awkward, like bogeyman in the division because he gave Fury a rough old time.
Yeah.
Right. So Dillian's injured, hurt his shoulder, waiting the results of an MRI. Otto Wallins left out in the dark, pissed. Johnny Fisher was asking for the fight, but why? Silly, right? And then Eddie actually offered up Babbage for 25 grand.
Yeah.
What a fuck you. Like, look, listen. 25 grand, you could probably peg me for that at a minute, right? 25 grand to fight Babbage, and you've been a world title contender and or challenger even. That's a liberty, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was he going to get for Dillian? Also, there has to be some sort of insurance here because this is the end of the camp. Say he's done a 10-week camp. He's paid for 8 of them, and then there's no payday at the end of it, and then they're just like, oh, we'll sort you out, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll give you 25.
25 grand to fight Babbage. Would be quite nice to see Babbage do that, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's good to see Babbage do anything.
Yeah, but it would be particularly good to see Babbage with like an awkward, slick, world-class fighter to see where he's at.
Yeah.
And a big Viking motherfucker as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Meris, Bredis, whatever, he was out, weren't he, last week? He won by 5th round stoppage. He looked good. Whatever, he always looks good. He was going to go heavyweight, but now he's not, which is probably for the best, isn't it?
It's going to go Bridger, isn't it?
Oscar Rivas is now the champion there, with the inaugural champ. Shout out Rivas. Yeah, I didn't see it. Didn't really. I mean, how are you going to do that still? Do you reckon the other belts? Which is the first belt that goes as well? Because one of them, it's got to be the WBA.
Oh, you reckon they'll turf one?
I reckon the WBA will do Bridgerweight as well.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant.
Yeah,
they're going to get rid of one of the big 4. I was like,
oh no. But they'll do their fucking, platinum champ, gold champ, bronze champ, interim super bronze, fucking whatever.
They love a belt.
So, I mean, Dillian's not hurt, and that's Bance, and he's nowhere to be seen as well, which is the best part of it.
Yeah, I think Dills has the same injury as level of COVID that Fury had before they switched his opponent to Wilder.
Yeah.
And in both instances, probably it's for the best. Like,
hey, it's not us he's got to convince.
Yeah,
it's the Lord. The big man upstairs has got to be the one convinced on that one, son.
White's been fucked around. Like,
yep.
It'll just be good for him to get the opportunity. It's a tough ask, but bring it.
Could you imagine if that was just an absolute like fucking Fraser Ali like barn burner?
Mate, Fury has got to be up there. If that's the case, if he has another epic fight.
You can't be pound for pound by beating the same geezer 3 times. Right? I don't want to hear about him in the pound for pound. I don't think that's fair.
No, but I'm saying as far as like a heavyweight goes, that's fucking...
Yeah, it's decent. And in the diary, we are putting in the lineal World Championship. Oh, which reminds me, let's shout out to the sponsor, Market Squawk. Let me just get the read copy up. I would do this. Yeah, hey man, be respectful.
It's the battle cry.
I think I kind of hoped it was like a squawk, as in like, oh no, it's a squaw, isn't it? An indigenous wife. Anyway,
know that.
Support. Yeah. Like the chief fucking Bigfoot. He would have a squaw, and that was his boo. But yeah, support for this podcast is brought to you by Market Squawk. Stay in touch with financial news that matters to you. Market Squawk, powered by Live Squawk News, is a live streaming financial news service that gets you to know what's going on in the moving markets in real time. It's a pay-as-you-go service for Live Squawk. Powerful. There's no subscription, which means you can come and go as you like. Instant access, easy to use. You'll be up and running in minutes. So if you're slanging crypto, you're telling bitches that you're an FX trader, but what that actually means is you went to Travelex and changed some pounds into dollars. Respect, this is for you. You're going to get some fucking news. Anyway.
Who doesn't like to come and then go?
That's what I'm saying. Marketsquawk.co.uk. Have a little look. Shout out. If you do that every single time we do this, I'm so involved. Like, I'm so involved. I may make a clips channel of you just squawking in various T-shirts. Anyway, shout out. Shout out to the patrons, patreon.com, Fighting Words. This will be the first one that we have that has our new jazzy background thing. Booyah. That's got it all built in. So it tells you to hit the subscribe button.
To see it on Instagram.
Nah, for 3 days. Allow the 3 days. It'll be on YouTube pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, this will be the first one that shows that. Streets is having an apple juice, bless him. Loves it.
Rose.
Ooh, classy. Shakur.
Oh.
What a star. But before we do Shakur, on that card, it was another classic top rank, our fighters annihilate some poor guy card.
Yeah.
And there's about a week's worth of coof. Evan Holyfield fucked up a dude.
He killed a guy.
He hoofed him up deep. There was another dude who like slept a geezer with the wobbly legs trying to get up like he was on the balance board. That was good. Muhammad Ali's grandson. At least this time, he had his own gear on, right?
Yeah.
You've had your first one, you've done it, all of that stuff. Didn't really look like he landed with the most solid of shots that finished the bout, but hey, 2-0, Nico Ali Walsh.
That was with the well-fed ref, right?
He was so fat, that ref.
I can't say that.
I can say that. That dude was fat, right? Honestly, like some of the refs, they'll have a little bit of a darbs on them because it looks like that. Like Tony Weeks looks like he can like cold get off the couch and deadlift 350.
Yeah. Oi, when did that become a thing? Not being able to say fat.
I don't know. You're not allowed to say that though. I'm not allowed to say in this household. I'm not allowed to say skank, sket, slut, whore, any of those. I'm not allowed to say bitch. I'm not allowed to. Yeah, you can't do anything anymore. It's just like fucking being in North Korea in here. It's bullshit. But no, you're not allowed to say fat anymore. I don't know why. And then listen, when you got celebrities
it's just
talking,
odd because then you just have to try and come up with like synonymous words for fat on the fly, and I don't have that many, and they all sound even worse, like portly, well-fed, well-nourished.
Hyper-nourished is that one. We will just say hyper-nourished, but that referee was fat, okay? And he was fat, proper fat.
And not even PH, just...
Not even PH, just he was proper fat. And you know he was proper fat because on the camera angles, where normally there is no ref, you had stomach and gunt. And they're meant to be mobile. My man wasn't that mobile. Yeah, he was a unit, that geezer. But main event, Shakur Stevens, to be fair, absolutely and utterly fulfilled any sort of... If anyone ever had any questions about Shakur, that's it done now.
Yeah.
Right? He beat the fuck out of Jamel Herring. He shut shit down. And one of the stats
with
that was bizarre...
Ease.
For 32 rounds in a row, he has outscored his opponent. Think about that. That's like, as in like outscored, outlanded, out everything. 32 rounds in a row. Consecutively.
Yeah. I'm not even surprised.
No, I'm not. He looked sensational. He really did. Jamel...
snapping them shots too, which was the thing with Shakur previously. His skill is off the charts, and now he's growing into that man strength. He gonna be a problem.
He is a problem, and like him and Valdez, another one of Eddie's boys, fucking powerful. That's a big fight. That
it is a big fight. I think Shakur is too much for Valdez, and I fucking love Valdez. I think Shakur just has too many levels extra. It comes to that X factor, and he's got it. Valdez is amazing at what he does. Yeah. I think Shakur is boxing acumen. His IQ is too much for that. He won't fall into the traps, and I think it's going to be one hell of a fight. But Shakur all the way.
Like he's junior lightweight now, right? He's not that far from a pretty fucking buzzing division. Mm-hmm. Ooh, speaking of 27th of November. is now officially Combos's. Why do people hate Combos's? I get a decent amount of DMs about like how much of a jar he is and he's going to get knocked out. And it's not even just from that one dude in New York. It's a few people. They really don't like him.
Well,
I think he's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think he's all right.
Hungry as fuck. How can you hate on that? He's hungry as fuck. He trains his ass off. He's there to do a job. He does it fucking well. Leave the man alone.
That's what I'm saying. And he's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Right? He's like an old-timey, old-worldy villain guy.
Yeah, like he's like a guy that's seen too much. He's just jaded. Yeah.
Doesn't swear at you. Calls you boy, an idiot, and son. And that's it. In very aggressive, sort of Greeky, Aussie, weird accent.
Gets a win and then wants to go backstage and do the rest of the rounds.
Banging out push-ups before anything. Like he's a winner. I will verbatim. I think Kambosos does Teofimo. I think Teofimo's fucking about too much trying to be a star. I don't think that Teofimo handles being the clear favourite very well. Every time he's been the favourite, he's looked dog shit. He thinks that he's going to absolutely blow out Kambosos, and I just can't see it. I can't see someone that's as aggy, as fit, as trained as him, that is also like a known sparring partner for Manny, known all around all of the gyms. And you can't tell me that Kambosos can't take a shot. If he's been in it, like you've seen Manny sparring videos, that dude does nothing light. The only thing, he just puts bigger gloves on and still bashes. Like that's why Amir Khan slurs. I'm telling you. Some of them videos of them two sparring.
Yeah, it's not good for your health, man.
No, it ain't. Right, so I don't see, and you know, yeah, he beat Loma, but it was pretty thin, and retrospectively, although unsportsmanly, it did actually seem like he did kind of just have one arm, and then did actually just say fuck it, I'm going to throw it to the wind, and go for it, and did go for it. But that was one round, comfortable. That's one round from being a very controversial swingy fight.
Yeah.
And Teofimo, that was the best that Teofimo could be. That was the worst that Loma has been. So he may be a bit of a hype job. He might have to go to 140, who knows?
Let's see. I mean, I do believe in Teo.
He's quality.
Yeah, and he does have all the attributes. You touched on it exactly when you said the stardom thing. That's my concern. Every fight is different. Going into this one, that's to me going to be, because Kambosos definitely ain't. He's fucking Clubber Lang. He lives alone. He trains alone.
Yeah, he does.
And
old Clubber.
And Teo's like Rocky at the start of Rocky 3, man. Like living it up, living that big life, buying them leather jackets and shit, riding around on his motorbike. Yeah. Do
you remember that weird, creepy robot?
Fuck yeah.
That geezer Marcus, who's out in Saudi or wherever he is, he's got a video on his gram at the minute of like a robot waiter. Oh, no, it's not for me, that.
It needs a woman's voice like Paulie did.
Paulie. Is he still alive? He's got to be dead, isn't he?
I think he's dead.
He's got to be dead. They're all dead, aren't they? Is Adrian dead?
Yeah, I think no. Actually, I thought she was dead, and I think I Googled her and she's still alive.
But she's dead in the film.
Yeah.
So, be Adrian. What are you doing? Imagine how much happier he would be if Adrian was still alive.
Yeah, right?
He wouldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of, do you think an episode about Tommy the Duke is in order? Because he's a fun one to do.
Oh, one of our apps.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The Dukes, and obviously, you know, YouTube loves.
I thought you were going to say, is he going to appear in a Rocky? I'm like, I think I've got some bad news for you, bro. Like,
rest in power, Tommy.
Rest in power.
Rest in power. Now, Tommy died of, I believe, HIV-related complications, and he had pec implants when he died.
He did.
It's a bad time, that.
Yep.
You wonder how much juice that they were on in the 80s and the 90s. Because, like, you look at Tommy, and you are on WWF level shit.
Yeah.
Because they were WWF size boys, them boys. What a time, eh? Fucking hell. And then, yeah. There's actually something a little bit big at the end, but we'll give that a minute. All Access, Canelo on Plant is...
Yeah, that's the first thing I'm watching as soon as we finish.
Sensational. Okay. I was saying to Streets before we banged the old record button that an English speaking Canelo is just eminently more likable than the one that doesn't really say very much. He's kind of fun. He's kind of cool. He's like playing golf and being with his kids and shit. Like, this is the first time do you know what? I'm actually back to like Golden Boy era Canelo. Like before Canelo Whyte, before all of the scandals. Right. I'm back to that. I'm like, I like, and like he's saying that no one has ever been undisputed super middleweight champion, which is true. He would be the first one should he win. And also no one's ever cleared out an entire division in a 12-month period, which he would be the first one to do too.
Yeah, I mean, Geese is an animal. He's fucking made for this shit.
By that, do you know what also is quite interesting about that? It is that in this All Access, you can actually start to see that he's getting a little bit on the like weathered side facially, because like his biggest gift is his skin for sure. Whatever it's made of is like, and it always looks completely and utterly smooth, doesn't it? But like in close, like you're starting to see like scarring and all of the bits that you would expect for a savage like him. But yeah, it's quality. And don't really care about the WBA because they're jars, but they're being pricks, right? Ugas beat their cash cow. Ugas has asked, can he unify against Spence? They've said no, you've got a mandatory, and he's like, oh, for fuck's sake. So basically, I've done him a little bit dirty.
Yeah,
whatevs. Now,
here we go.
Jake and Tommy, all but announced for December 18th. Factually, please get ready to hold on to the desk. Factually, the highest stake fight of the year, because you are either going to see the end of the YouTube boxing era, or you're going to see a horrific end to a British prospect who will get his name taken. He will never be seen. He will go into exile. He will be excommunicated from his entire family. He will have to never have a mobile phone. The amount of abuse that he would get from anyone and everyone for him to lose to Jake Paul is astonishing. The stakes are huge for this one. Not for the sport, but for those two people.
Yeah.
This is not a tattoo on the finger. This is like Tommy's, you know, what do you do with him?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Look, and the worst thing is,
don't do it.
Yeah.
Jess will be so angry at you. He can't fathom a way that it happens.
Because like boxing needs this wrong righted, and like Tommy ain't the guy. I don't think. It's just he's not. Everyone thinks it's this given that he's going to win. It's like based on what? Like Jake, as much as I hate to admit it, has fought better fighters, even though he hasn't fought boxers. And it's not like Tommy is more like Jake than he is his brother. That's for damn sure. Yeah, for sure.
Now, what I was going to say is that because the stakes will be so high, this is going to be a abomination. It's going to be such a snoozer that it's going to be awful. It's just going to be absolutely and utterly dire, because like Jake will know that should he get beat by the Fury that's a boxer, that's the baby Fury, that's at the start of his career, that's kind of on the same level as him, that's him, you know, pretty much done on this. And for Tommy's not going to want to, like, every punch that he lands is going to be like ×3 for Tommy, because it's going to feel like his whole life is on the line when he gets landed on a jab by a YouTuber. It's going to be wild.
And the sad thing is, like, Jake can pretty much go, yeah, okay, fine, I lost. I'm going to go do this shit now. And like,
I'm still worth P.
Yeah. And millions of people still watch. They'll be like, okay, cool. So the boxing bit's done. What are we doing next? And I know Tommy has a whole bunch of shit off whatever, fucking Love Island or whatever.
Really?
And his misses too, but it can't be the same level. Does.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we got that. And then in February, Mike Tyson versus Logan Paul, making Logan the only person to fight Floyd and Mike Tyson. What's going on? Again, what would you do for 30, 40, 50 million dollars?
Yeah.
You would. Of course you would. It's
one gets me because I don't think Tyson is just gonna flatline him. Like, just because I don't think Mike is at that stage.
They're friends.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be big if he did flatline him and just be like, motherfucker, we're friends. I can kill you.
See, I would love that.
But if he wasn't friends, he wouldn't, because that's impolite.
Man, like, it's because it's just going to be the chat afterwards, because Mike would kill Logan, but he won't kill Logan. And then it's kind of like, why are we doing this then?
It's vast. It's so crazy. Did you see the Yard Arthur, like, the press conference?
I saw bits and pieces. I didn't.
Got a bit beefy.
Yeah.
To be honest, got a little bit beefy, and you got, Pat Barrett, who is kind of terrifying. Bless him. He was getting a little bit beefy with Tunde. I don't really like. Was Tunde a fighter? I don't really know much about Tunde, if I'm honest. I know his mates with Spencer, who said he was too big to come on, but then asked to come on. Lol. Whoops. Whoops. But I know his mates with Spence, and I don't really know much about him, but I don't fancy his chances against Pat Barrett if that goes off.
Yeah.
Especially when Pat Barrett immediately reverted back to, I'll punch him up. Like, I love, I'll punch him up. Right? Just a very simple thing. Like, it doesn't matter where, I'm just going to punch you and you're going to be done. Right? Lyndon is so focused, so angry, and so aggy. He's got that combosses. He's got the biggest chip on his shoulder. Fucking love Lyndon.
Yeah.
I want Lyndon to win this, and I think he does win this.
Yeah, I think he
comfortably. But then, what a waste if Yard does get done.
I know.
It is just such a waste, isn't it?
Do you remember drooling about the thought of Yard and Boazzi?
Yeah. Yeah, basically it was Yard and Boazzi. That was it.
Yeah.
Now there's 5 of them. And it's like super middleweight. That's super middleweight. Light middleweight, my bad. You got, like, Smith, Fowler, Troy. You got all of them boys. Cheeseman, Metcalf. It's the same here. It's, mate, what are we gonna do? That's a good live one. That one.
Yeah.
September 4th. Hard. We will be on that one in a big way. They could make that pay-per-view,
Yeah, well, yeah, fuck yeah. That's a great card.
Oh, and Denz is fighting next weekend. He got a fight in Birmingham.
Really?
Yeah. Denz is fighting in Birmingham. That's because our Instagram's been shut off. Yeah.
Birmingham.
Instagram. Yeah, Birmingham. I mean, that was close. That was kind of Scouse more than Birmingham. Birmingham's Peaky Blinders.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think that's about it, Brother Streets. You got anything more? Any new business?
Mike Tyson, fucking Logan Paul.
What if Logan beats Mike?
Never gonna happen.
What if Logan beats Mike? What if Logan literally uses his 26-year-old legs and, like, jabs and runs all night? Mike barely gets near him before he moves off again, and it's like one of those ones where it was like, okay, there wasn't really a winner, but there was.
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Sure. You're gonna be so gutted.
Mike Tyson is still Mike Tyson.
Is he 50? Is he 53?
Something, yeah, 53 maybe. Yeah, 53.
Again, would you be that surprised if Logan got absolutely and utterly flatlined? No.
Purely because I don't think Tyson pulled the trigger that much. Because, like, I genuinely believe he was holding back with Roy.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Roy
went to the body a lot more than...
Yeah. Yeah, but then, who knows? It's Roy, innit? There's a lot of respect there.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago now. That's like a year ago.
The start of this pod.
Did.
Build up to that.
Here we are. So, yeah. Subscribe, like, rate, review, follow. Follow us on Instagram. We'll be back on the 27th. Fucking Instagram. All good. Patreon.com fighting words. Shout out to Market Squawk.
Squawk.
There's all things around the side of the screen now. Whatever. Love you, bye.
Love ya.